Heinrich, the real nuclear physicist, from South Africa, Free State Province. Guess who we're looking at today? Before we start today, I'd just like to say a big thank you to each and every one of you. I've reached 500 subscribers since I posted my last video, and I must say I appreciate all the positive feedback that everyone's been giving me. Now, this calls for another celebration, so please keep an eye on the channel. There'll be an announcement soon. CC, Chris, from New York, Westchester County, is a flat earther who always makes ridiculous claims, and the words he uses to back up his claims is, "I don't know," or "I don't understand." And today, he doesn't understand the moon.
Okay.
CC, apart from all the loud breathing, if you'd focus that video, you'd get a pretty amazing shot of the moon. There you go. You almost had it. You can actually see the craters on the moon now.
See, I can't understand how and why you can see through a solid object. It doesn't make any sense to me.
How can you see through a solid object, CC? Glass is a solid object and you can still see through it. In fact, my glasses quite solid and I can see through them. In fact, they actually help me see. I think what you're referring to is transparency. So how can you see through a non-transparent object? I'm lost here, CC. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to show us. But by your comment, I'm guessing you are referring to the moon and you think that we can see through it. But I'm going to do all of us a favor. Just skip through all the heavy breathing and get to a part where you actually say something.
Some motherfucker opened their door and smashed it into my door in my car. Really pisses me off. Cars of 2024.
I'm sorry to hear that, CC. Other people can be quite inconsiderate when it's not their property. And I'm guessing that's why we're not in your van today. Also, I'm failing to see the point of your car being dented relating to the moon. CC continues to rant about his car and how upset he is that somebody dented it. I'm going to skip to the part in this video where he actually says something about the moon.
Well, we should be able to see the Apollo 11 or some sort of reflection, right?
No, CC. We shouldn't be able to see the moon lander on the surface of the moon from the surface of the Earth, especially with something that wasn't made for looking at the moon. Even our largest Earth-based telescopes can't see the Apollo lander on the moon because their resolution capabilities can't resolve something that small that is that far. Here is a picture of the lander though, taken from the Chandrayaan-2 lunar orbiter. Here you can clearly see the lunar lander. And why? Because we're so much closer to the moon if we're in an orbiter around the moon.
I don't see anything. But what the fuck is that? You can see right through it. Looks like almost a cloud, doesn't it?
If you would stop shaking the camera, CC, you can probably see that that is a crater on the moon. No, you can't see through it. And I'm failing to see where you see something that resembles a cloud. What you are seeing is the edges of the crater that's higher than the center of the crater, and the sun casts a shadow of those edges to the center of the crater. That's why the center is dark, and you can see the edges in the light.
Just pan out for a minute. Dude, what you're looking at is not a solid object.
Yes, the moon is a solid object, and in your video you can clearly see the three-dimensionality of the craters on the moon, as the sun casts shadows in the centers and behind the craters. How can you say it's not a solid object? I think we should leave CC, his heavy breathing, and his terrible focus there for today. If you'd like to see more of him, hit the like button. If you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe. I've got much more content, and there's much more content to come. I'm Heinrich, the real nuclear physicist, and I'll see you next time.